Chosen one, stop scrolling. This message found you for a reason. Chosen one, stop scrolling. This is not just another video. This is a signal, a divine interruption. Right now, something inside you is reacting. Not your mind, your soul. Because deep down you've always felt it, haven't you? That you're different. That you don't belong to the noise of this world. That there is something waiting to awaken inside you. And here's the truth they don't want you to hear. God is about to unleash your true power, and everything around you will change. But before that happens, you must understand why your life has felt like a battle. You were never meant to fit in. From the very beginning, you felt out of place. Like you were observing the world, not truly part of it. People misunderstood you. They called you too emotional, too intense, too different. But what they saw as weakness was actually your sensitivity to truth. Your spirit could see beyond illusions, and that made them uncomfortable. You tried to fit in. You tried to shrink yourself to be accepted. But every time you did, something inside you broke. Because your soul refuses to live a lie. It was designed for something greater. The pain was never punishment, it was preparation. All the rejection, all the loneliness, all the silent battles you fought when no one was watching. It wasn't random. God was training you. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every heartbreak strengthened your spirit. Every moment of isolation forced you to find yourself. While others were distracted, you were being shaped. Because power without preparation is dangerous. And your power is not ordinary. That's why your journey had to be different. Signs you are a true chosen one. You feel deeply, even when you try not to. Energy affects you more than it should. You can sense fake intentions instantly. You don't need words, you feel the truth. You crave solitude, not because you're weak, but because your soul needs clarity away from chaos. You've gone through cycles of losing people, as if your life keeps resetting. And no matter how many times you fall, you rise again, stronger, wiser, more aware. That's not coincidence. That's design. Why the world tried to silence you. Ever wondered why your voice was ignored? Why your truth was dismissed? Because your presence threatens illusions. You see what others refuse to see. You question what others blindly follow. And that makes you dangerous to a system built on control. So they tried to label you, to confuse you, to make you doubt yourself. But here's what they didn't understand. A chosen one may be delayed, but never denied. The moment your power awakens, there comes a moment when everything shifts. The confusion fades. The fear disappears. And suddenly, you remember who you are. Not the version the world created, but the version God designed. Your intuition becomes sharper. Your presence becomes heavier. People will feel it, even if they can't explain it. Doors will start opening. Clarity will replace chaos. And the same people who doubted you will begin to watch you in silence. Because your power can no longer be hidden. This is your divine activation. You didn't find this video by accident. This is your confirmation. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are being activated. Everything you went through was leading to this exact moment. The moment where you stop questioning and start stepping into your purpose. No more shrinking. No more hiding. This is where you rise. The world will feel your presence now. Once you fully awaken, there is no going back. You will walk differently. Speak differently. Think differently. Your energy will command attention without you saying a word. And people will either be drawn to you or intimidated by you. But this time, you won't chase acceptance because you'll finally understand. You were never meant to be liked. You were meant to be powerful. It's time to embrace your true power. Chosen one, this is your moment. The world has tried to dim your light long enough. But now, it's your time to shine without fear. Step into your truth. Trust your journey. Embrace your calling. Because when God unleashes your power, nothing can stop what you were sent here to become. If this message spoke to your soul, don't ignore it. Like this video, so this truth reaches other chosen ones. Subscribe to Chosen Wave, because this is where awakenings happen. And tell me in the comments, what is the one sign that made you realize you're chosen? Your voice matters. Your journey matters. And this is only the beginning. You start seeing through everything. There comes a stage where nothing looks the same anymore. The conversations around you feel shallow. The distractions feel meaningless. The things that once excited you no longer move you. It's not that life lost color. It's that you finally see the truth behind the illusion. You start noticing patterns in people. The fake smiles. The hidden intentions. And it becomes harder to pretend you don't see it. This is not disconnection. This is elevation. Your awareness is expanding beyond the level most people are comfortable with. The loneliness of awakening. No one talks about this part. The silence. The distance. The feeling that no one truly understands you. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone because your soul is no longer aligned with the same frequency. You outgrow environments. You outgrow conversations. Sometimes you even outgrow people you once loved deeply. And that hurts. But what feels like loss is actually alignment. Because not everyone is meant to walk with you into the version of yourself you're becoming. Your energy becomes your power. At first, you didn't realize it. But now you feel it. The way your presence shifts a room. The way people react to you without you saying much. Some feel comfort around you. Others feel exposed. Because your energy carries truth. You can no longer entertain negativity the way you used to. Your spirit rejects it instantly. And the more you protect your energy, the stronger it becomes. This is your power activating, quietly but powerfully. The war you can't explain. There are days where everything feels heavy. No clear reason. No visible cause. Just an internal battle that no one else can see. Your mind questions. Your heart feels overwhelmed. Your spirit feels tested. This is the unseen war. The moment where your old self and your higher self collide. It's uncomfortable. It's exhausting. But it's necessary. Because transformation is never peaceful. Why you were isolated. You thought you were being left behind. You thought life was being unfair. But now you're starting to understand. God removed certain people because they couldn't go where you're going. He isolated you so your identity wouldn't be influenced by the world. He created distance so you could hear your own soul clearly. Because your purpose requires clarity. And clarity is born in solitude. You start trusting yourself again. For so long, you doubted yourself. You questioned your instincts. You ignored your inner voice. Because the world taught you not to trust what you feel. But now something is changing. That quiet voice inside you is getting louder, more accurate, more undeniable. And you're starting to listen. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need approval. Because you finally realize God speaks through your intuition. And it has never been wrong. The shift people can't explain. They won't say it directly, but they feel it. Something about you has changed. You're calmer but stronger, quieter but more powerful. You don't react the same. You don't chase the same things. And that confuses people, because they were used to the old version of you. The version that tolerated more. The version that explained itself. But that version is gone now. And the new you doesn't need to be understood. You are being prepared for something bigger. Everything happening right now is not random. The discomfort, the growth, the separation, it's all building towards something. A level of life you haven't experienced yet. A purpose you haven't fully stepped into yet. You're being stretched, because what's coming requires more from you. More strength, more awareness, more discipline. And even if you don't see the full picture yet, trust this, you are closer than you think. The moment you stop chasing, everything changes. There was a time you chased everything. People, validation, opportunities that were never meant for you. You thought effort meant forcing things to work. But now, something inside you has shifted. You're no longer running after what doesn't see your worth. You're no longer begging for what drains your soul. And strangely, the moment you stop chasing, things start coming to you. Because alignment attracts, while desperation repels. This is the power of knowing your value. You outgrow your old identity. Look back at who you used to be. The way you thought. The way you reacted. The things you tolerated. That version of you wouldn't survive where you're going. And that's why it had to fade. Growth is uncomfortable, because it demands you let go of familiarity. Old habits start feeling foreign. Old environments start feeling heavy. Even your own reflection feels different. Because you are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. The silent observers in your life. Pay attention. There are people watching you quietly. Not supporting. Not hating openly. Just observing. They see your change. They feel your distance. But they don't understand it. So they stay silent. Some are waiting for you to fail. Some are trying to figure out your next move. But none of that matters anymore. Because you didn't rise to be understood. You rose to become unstoppable. Your discipline is your new identity. Motivation comes and goes. Feelings change. Energy shifts. But discipline is what builds power. You're starting to realize your routine matters. Your habits matter. Your focus matters. You can't afford to be distracted anymore. Because every small action is shaping your future. And the more disciplined you become, the less control the world has over you. This is how chosen ones separate themselves. You no longer fear being alone. There was a time loneliness scared you. You needed noise. You needed people around to feel okay. But now, silence feels peaceful. Being alone feels powerful. Because you've built a relationship with yourself. You understand your thoughts. You trust your emotions. You don't need constant validation anymore. And that's dangerous. Because when a person becomes comfortable alone, they become impossible to control. The tests become harder, but so do you. Just when you think you've grown, another challenge appears. Stronger, more intense, more personal. And you ask yourself, why? Why does it keep getting harder? Because you're leveling up. And every new level requires a stronger version of you. The tests are not there to break you. They are there to reveal who you've become. And every time you overcome one, you step into a higher version of your power. You start detaching from outcomes. This is where real freedom begins. You still work hard. You still move with purpose. But you're no longer attached to results. You understand. What's meant for you will not miss you. And what misses you was never meant for you. So you move differently now. Calmer, more focused, less desperate. Because you trust timing. And when you trust timing, you stop forcing life and start flowing with it. Your presence becomes your statement. You don't need to explain yourself anymore. You don't need to prove anything. Because your presence speaks for you. The way you carry yourself. The way you respond or choose not to respond. The way you protect your peace. People notice, not because you're loud, but because you're grounded. And in a world full of noise, that kind of energy stands out. Without saying a word, you make a statement. You are no longer seeking, you are becoming. At the beginning, you were searching for answers, for purpose, for clarity. But now, you are becoming the answer. Everything you once looked for outside is being built within you. Strength, peace, direction. And the more you grow, the less you need from the world. Because you finally understand. The power was never outside of you. You start seeing delay as divine timing. There was a time delays frustrated you. You thought you were falling behind. You compared your journey to others. You questioned why things weren't happening faster. But now your perspective is shifting. You're starting to see that every delay protected you. Protected you from wrong people, wrong opportunities, wrong versions of yourself. Because if certain doors opened earlier, you wouldn't have been ready to walk through them. So now you wait differently. Not with anxiety, but with trust. Because you understand, timing is not random. It's divine. You stop explaining yourself. You used to over-explain. Your decisions, your silence, your distance. You felt the need to make people understand you. But now you don't. Because you've realized something powerful. The right people don't need explanations. And the wrong people will never understand anyway. So you move in silence. You let your actions speak. You let your growth show. And you protect your energy by not giving it away in unnecessary conversations. This is maturity. This is power. You become selective with everything. Your time is no longer cheap. Your energy is no longer available to everyone. Your attention is no longer easily given. You've become selective. Selective with who you talk to. Selective with what you consume. Selective with where you go. Because you've realized everything you allow into your life either builds you or drains you. And you can't afford to be drained anymore. Not at this level. Not with what you're becoming. You feel the shift before it happens. Something is coming. You can't fully explain it, but you feel it. A shift. a breakthrough, a change in direction. Your intuition is stronger than ever. It whispers before things happen. It warns you before mistakes. It guides you without needing proof. And the more you listen, the clearer everything becomes. Because you're no longer walking blindly. You're being guided. You realize not everyone is meant to understand you. This used to bother you. You wanted people to get you, to see your intentions, to recognize your growth. But now you've let that go. Because you understand. Your path is not common. Your mindset is not ordinary. And expecting everyone to understand you is expecting them to see from a level they haven't reached. So you stop seeking validation. You stop explaining your vision. And you move quietly, confidently forward. You start protecting your peace at all costs. Peace is no longer optional. It's necessary. You walk away from drama. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You choose silence over arguments. Not because you're weak, but because you've learned. Not everything deserves your reaction. Some battles are distractions. Some conversations are traps. And your energy is too valuable to waste. So you protect your peace. Like your life depends on it. Because in a way it does. You become comfortable being misunderstood. People will talk. They will assume. They will create stories about you that aren't true. And before, that would have bothered you. But now, you're okay with being misunderstood. Because you know your truth. You know your intentions. And you no longer feel the need to correct every false perception. Because real power is not in controlling how others see you. It's in staying true to who you are regardless. You start attracting what matches your energy. Without forcing, without chasing, things begin to align. The right people show up. The right opportunities appear. The right paths reveal themselves. Because your energy has changed. And energy attracts its match. You're no longer attracting chaos. You're attracting clarity. You're no longer attracting confusion. You're attracting purpose. And this is just the beginning of what's possible. You finally understand your worth. This is the shift that changes everything. You stop settling. You stop accepting less than you deserve. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Because you finally see yourself clearly. Not through the opinions of others, but through truth. You understand your value, your presence, your mind, your energy. And once you truly know your worth, you become unstoppable. You stop fearing loss. There was a time losing people scared you. You held on tightly. You ignored red flags. You stayed longer than you should have. Because you feared being alone. But now that fear is gone. You understand something deeper. If someone can walk away from your life, they were never meant to stay in your destiny. So you release without chasing. You let go without begging. Because you trust that anything truly meant for you will never require you to lose yourself to keep it. You begin to master your emotions. You still feel deeply, but now you're not controlled by those feelings. You observe them. You understand them. You learn from them. Anger no longer makes you reckless. Pain no longer makes you weak. Instead, it sharpens you. Because emotional control is one of the highest forms of power. And now you're stepping into it. You respond instead of reacting. You choose instead of losing control. And that changes everything. You realize your silence is powerful. Not every truth needs to be spoken. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every situation needs your voice. Sometimes, silence says more than words ever could. You're learning to hold back, to observe more, to speak less. And in that silence, you gain clarity. You gain control. You gain power. Because those who truly understand power don't feel the need to prove it. You see people for who they really are. No more illusions. No more giving the benefit of the doubt blindly. You see actions, not words. You notice patterns, not promises. And once you see someone clearly, you can't unsee it. That's why your circle is getting smaller. Not because you're losing people, but because you're gaining clarity. And clarity removes what doesn't belong. You become addicted to growth. Comfort no longer excites you. You crave progress. You crave evolution. You crave becoming better every single day. Even when it's hard. Even when it's uncomfortable. Because staying the same feels worse than growing. You start pushing yourself. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Because you know there is a version of you waiting on the other side of discipline. And you're determined to meet them. You stop seeking revenge. You used to want people to feel what they did to you, to understand your pain, to face consequences. But now, you've outgrown that mindset because you've realized your growth is your revenge. Your peace is your victory. Your success is your response. You don't need to prove anything. Life has a way of balancing everything. And you trust that. So instead of looking back, you move forward without carrying that weight. You begin to walk in purpose, not confusion. Things are starting to make sense. The pain, the lessons, the delays, it's all connecting now. You're no longer wandering without direction. You're moving with intention. Every step feels guided. Every decision feels aligned. Even when things aren't fully clear, you trust the path. Because for the first time, you're not lost. You're becoming. You no longer need permission to be yourself. This is where true freedom begins. You don't wait for approval anymore. You don't ask if it's okay to be who you are. You don't shrink to fit expectations. You show up fully, authentically, unapologetically, powerfully, because you've realized the only permission you ever needed was your own. And now that you've given it to yourself, there's nothing left holding you back. You feel it, your power is here. It's no longer distant. It's no longer something you're waiting for. It's here, in your mindset, in your presence, in your decisions. You feel stronger, more grounded, more certain. Not because life is perfect, but because you've changed. And once a chosen one steps into their power, they never go back to who they used to be. You stop doubting your path. There was a time you questioned everything. Am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? What if I fail? Your mind was filled with uncertainty. But now that noise is fading. You don't have all the answers, but you no longer need them. Because something deeper has taken over. Trust. You trust your journey. You trust your growth. You trust where you're being led. And that trust removes fear. Because doubt cannot survive. Where belief is strong, you start moving in silence. Not everything needs to be announced. Not every move needs to be shared. You've learned that silence protects your vision. Before, you spoke too soon. You shared too much. You gave people access before things were solid. But now, you build quietly. You grow privately. You move strategically. And when results finally show, they speak louder than anything you could have said. You become unrecognizable to your past. If the old version of you saw you now, they wouldn't believe it. The strength, the mindset, the discipline, it's different. You don't react the same. You don't tolerate the same. You don't think the same. Because you've evolved. And evolution creates distance. Distance from your past habits. Distance from your old identity. Distance from the person you had to leave behind. To become who you are now. You no longer fear rejection. Rejection used to hurt. It made you question your worth. It made you feel like you weren't enough. But now, you see it differently. Rejection is redirection. It's protection. It's life removing what doesn't align, so something better can take its place. So you don't chase approval anymore. You don't force acceptance. You simply become. And what belongs to you naturally finds you. You start seeing opportunities everywhere. Your mindset has changed. Where others see problems, you see potential. Where others feel stuck, you find a way forward. Because your awareness has expanded. You're no longer focused on limitations. You're focused on possibilities. And that shift changes everything. Because opportunities were always there. You just couldn't see them before. This is your moment. Don't ignore the call. Chosen one, if you're still here, this wasn't just a video, this was confirmation. Something inside you woke up today. Something shifted. And deep down, you felt it. So don't scroll past this like it meant nothing. If this message reached your soul, prove it. Hit that like button right now, so this truth spreads to other chosen ones who are still lost in the dark. Subscribe to Chosen Wave, because this is where real awakenings happen, not surface-level motivation. And I want you to do something powerful. Go to the comments and type, "I am ready." Say it with intention. Say it like you mean it. Because words have power, and this is your declaration. Now tell me this. What was the exact moment in your life that made you realize you were different? Your story matters. Your voice matters. And this is just the beginning of your rise.